is with us in Minneapolis. Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Hi, John. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I am a huge fan, and I'm debt-free thanks to you and your program. So
Way to
thank you so
go.
much. I am 60 years old. I make $55,000 a year as an administrative assistant, and yet I still live paycheck to paycheck because of my high rent. But I love where I live. My take-home pay is $2,600 a month, and my rent is $1,655, which is over half of my take-home pay for a one-bedroom apartment. I've been looking at purchasing a condo, but the ones I like get outbidded, and the older condos, which are more affordable to buy, have a high, like $700 in HOA fees, and I'm not comfortable with that high of a fee. So my question for you today is, I really like the convenience of renting. I'm wondering if it's in my best interest to purchase something or if it's okay to keep renting. I could find a cheaper apartment that's not as nice, but it would be like $200 less a month.
Okay.
And
your $2,600 number, if you make $50,000, is wrong.
Is wrong?
Yeah. Well, $2,600 is $30,000. You don't have $20,000 in taxes. Do you make $50 a year? Is that what your salary is based on? Are you getting Are you getting a huge refund, or are you counting stuff that's coming out of your check other than taxes when you're telling me what your take-home pay is?
Oh, I'm counting, like that's like what it comes out for my benefits and my retirement.
Okay. How much are you putting in? How much are you putting in retirement?
Okay. I do 4%, which is required for an 8% match. And then I do another 1% on top of that. So that comes to $2,857 a year.
Okay. Your benefits expensive? Or are you getting a big tax refund every year?
I'm not, because I also get spousal support, and I have to pay taxes on that.
Okay.
So I just keep out what I need for taxes, and I got hit really big this year for some reason.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with how we go from a $50,000 income to a $30,000 take-home pay. I'm trying to find where that money's going. Okay, and it didn't go to retirement.
My paychecks are like $1,384, and I get paid. Well, maybe and I do get paid 26 times a year.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit better. So
it's
we're up to about $35,000 at this point. But still, there's still some money. I mean, I'm not saying it's missing. I just don't know what you're doing with it exactly. So, okay, the answer to your question in overall, without trying to figure out what to do today about it, is that if you're 60 for the next 30 years, can you imagine what rents are going to do?
Yeah, that scares me because I had an increase one year of $150 a month.
Yeah, and it's like that's the problem with being a renter in perpetuation.
Yeah,
it's the largest portion of your income goes to housing, and you lose control of how much it increases when you are at the mercy of the landlord. And so you don't want to be a renter for the next 30 years because that's going to it's going to increase, versus if you bought that condo, you've locked in what it costs you, not counting the HOA fees, but you've locked in your cost per month for the next 30 years. And so I'm moving in some way towards one of these condos in some method, figuring out how I'm going to get there and what have I got to do to cause that to happen, because that's a better long-term play for you. We also know that the folks that reach $1 million net worth, the vast majority of them, well over 80% of them, the primary source of their wealth is two things: their retirement plans and their paid-for house. And so, if you end up with a $700,000, $800,000 net worth, in 10 or 15 years over time here, which you probably could do, a portion of that, a third of that, half of that or whatever would be your paid-for condo that you got paid off in the next 15 years. So I want that stability in your long-term plan. That's why we don't want to be a renter long-term. But it doesn't mean we're stupid in the short term, and you go out there in the name of not renting anymore, or you go do something foolish and buy something you can't afford.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of young couples do. when they get married. They have to rush out and buy a house that they can't afford.
Or you get in a bidding war and suddenly you're
Yeah,
way out on thin ice.
She was very wise to walk away from those bidding wars. She said it went up and I tapped out.
That's right.
And that's very, very smart.